Hello, welcome to our channel. Doctors Karen and Matilda here. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite academic coaches and authors, Dr. Max. I cannot pronounce his last name, but he has a blog post on his site. He has a coaching program online, PhD, I think it's PhD coaching, or it might be something close to that. I'll get the exact name just now. But the interesting thing about him is that he offers a all-rounded or a very rounded program where he has a book, he had a course, and then he has his blogs and so on. So he's quite way beyond where we could ever think of going academically. The support system, the kind of pastoral care he offers, it's amazing. I'm always amazed by him, and he laughs when I tell him this. I've never met him, but I've emailed him a few times, and I'm very thankful that I met him. I came across his program in 2020, I think, or 2019. It really has revolutionized my thinking and helped me so much through my academic journey. So I'm looking at the blog post he had with things I wish I knew. And this series actually stemmed from that. So today, in honor of Dr. Max's work, I want to look at problem or point number 5. Point number 5 is quite long, but so I've done it in 2 parts. And the first part is where he talks a lot about we forget how good we are at something and we look forward, forgetting to take the portfolio of what we've done well in the past. And because we forgot what we were good at in the past, are we only looking to the present and what we're struggling through currently, we send ourselves into a psychological meltdown, whether it's a conscious one or unconscious one. And this is really a summary of the post. Eh? And when you are in postgrad program, you are surrounded by people who are intellectual, who are professional, who are overachievers, and generally people who've been in the business longer than you or I have been. And we ought to respect and honor their work rather than make it a tool for mental demoralization, so to speak. And we talk about recognizing your own brilliance, and that's why I like number 5, because it speaks to us, all of us who feel inadequate while we're doing our program. We don't feel we're scientifically aware or knowledgeable enough. I won't touch chemistry, maths, nor physics. Those are subjects that are my weakest subjects. I never retain anything from them. I admire people who do them, but I won't touch it. And then I would not allow myself to be intimidated by people who do. So take some time out, according to him, to remind yourself and to reflect on the journey you're on and to enjoy parts of that journey. And to identify the positives in it. And he advised, if you struggle to think of anything harder, they're there. PhD is a healthy, exhilarating journey, but it's also an unforgiving and cruel one. But don't let it affect you psychologically. Don't let it overwhelm you to the point where you forget that you have gifts, you have talents, you have knowledge. And if you didn't have those backgrounds, you would not be here pursuing a postgrad program. But here I'm going to do a little bit of psychological addition to Dr. Mack's post. I want to look a little bit at fear-based reality. And according to Limpton and others, fear-based reality is one of those actions where we interpret things based on fear, on trauma, on cultural conditioning, or perceived threats rather than reality. That pretty much sums up our imposter syndrome symptoms. In psychology, they call it threat-based cognition, where we give fear the power to overwhelm us to the point where it skews our perception and maybe even give us imaginary enemies. And we get defensive and we think that, okay, the department is against us or they're putting us in a position to look bad. And I've met students who actually voiced that to me. And now I'm doing the research for this clip. I understand it. They thought that in teaching them how to write academically, I was setting them up for failure until they saw the results of the effort, the extra effort I was asking them to make. And when they saw it, they began to boast and they're lining up to do my classes. But the first 2 semesters I remember teaching, and I started this journey of teaching academic writing in my classes, I took a lot of heat because many people, because I was teaching adults and teachers, they had their own little arrogance, so to speak, and they felt they probably know a little bit more than the teacher who was lecturing them in front, the lecturer or professor. And maybe they're right in some ways, because some of them were teaching topics I never heard of. However, there is a poem, I think it's Desorado, a line in it that says, "They're always greater and lesser persons than yourself." And that line in that poem, and I'm not a poetry person, it has given me freedom because I can accept that I'll always be people greater and lesser than myself. It has freed me from fear and intimidation and those negative feelings. It can put you in unnecessary spots. There are always persons greater and lesser than yourself. Remember, Doctors Karen and Matilda are reminding you, be your own overcomer. And we are always rooting for you. To identify and manage fear. There are a couple of tips here, and I try to put them in a little grid for a quick reading. I won't go through all of them, I'll go through some quickly. For example, join a trusted study group or discussion circle. Seek help through tough concepts with some balance. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Sometimes if you find your reactions are getting too overwhelming, write them down. Just free write how you feel. Turn some of them into questions and seek answers to those questions. Look at triggers. What triggers you? If being in the company of a physicist triggers you, ask yourself, how come this person triggers me? And as a follow-up, why am I allowing myself to go this way? Build a self-analysis grid of your strengths and weaknesses and put up somewhere to remind yourself. And every time you overcome one of the weaknesses, you add it to the strengths list. Study independently, but in stints. If it's hourly, half hourly, 20 minutes, monitor yourself to see. Sometimes you flex between time frames. Sometimes you go happily for 1 hour and then you take a break. And another time you barely make 20 minutes, and that's okay. Take the break and go back. You probably have to do that hour in 4 stints at one day, and another day you can do it straight through. Use things like mind maps, voice typing, and so on to help you layer ideas, see ideas in different formats. And befriend your physicist friend, your chemist friend, and listen to them because they too may be going through something similar. Have a nice conversation. I remember I'm meeting a professor, she was a chemist turned project manager. And she had some brilliant ideas in business because business was really her true calling. And it took her a while to get herself out of the chemical sphere and to find her path into project management. But eventually she got there. So she was intimidated for a while. So we cannot look at a brilliant person and then claim they're better than us and therefore we battle intimidation and blame them or blame ourselves for feeling that way. We have to face those feelings, manage them, and if possible, minimize or eradicate them. And then you have different psychological exercises you can do. One of my favorite is mental yoga. And maybe I'll do a tip. Now I'm talking here. I should do a clip on mental yoga, mental gym, to sharpen your mind so you can manage the work that you have to do. And once you begin to focus on the work that you have to do, and your part you play in the wider department and skills around you, because the world is moving in fast into a multidisciplinary arena. So, are you going to be intimidated by everybody you meet? No. Or if you meet, and if on the other hand you meet somebody who's intimidated by you, and you notice it, you too can share with them your battles, your trials, your journey, to let them know academic is not an easy place to be or to have achievements in. You can be conned, you can be scammed. It doesn't matter how bright you are, things can happen to you. You can probably have a congenital disability, a hidden illness. You can have family issues, financial issues. So everybody got something going on in their lives. So it's not something that it's so isolated and we can plummet into the imposter syndrome because others are seemingly doing better than ourselves. Remember that line in the poem, we are always less than greater person than ourselves. Need help? You can email us or leave your comments in the comment section. We're going to also include our playlists in the description of the clip. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for viewing. We appreciate you, both new and returning viewers. Remember to make it a great week. And from the desk of Doctors Karen and Matilda, bye.